Well, it's been 40 days. And if you're like me, you haven't slept very well in the last 40 days. As a educational advocate and a avid public media supporter, the rescission event that happened 40 days ago is kind of, I don't know, it's not exactly the last straw for me, but let me put it this way. There are very few people or institutions that I would pick up the phone and say, whatever it is, the answer is yes. And Weird Al Yankovic aside, one of those institutions is NPR, PBS, all of it. The question becomes, is what if they asked you to raise $1 billion? How would you go about doing it? How would you tackle that kind of challenge? I don't know if I have a good answer for that. I don't know if anybody has a good answer for that. But I'm going to tell you what I am going to do is I'm going to give it a try. And I'm going to try and raise $1 billion for public television, for public radio, for public media, to claw back that amount of money. And I'm not just going to raise it. I'm going to take it to Washington and I'm going to restore the funding. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go on every podcast I can, every media outlet I can find, and go around the country. Build a camper, go around the country, help individual stations raise money for public broadcasting, for their own stations. And all the while, I'm going to film it and document it. We're going to film the building of the camper that I'm going to build. In fact, the construction is already underway, and you'll be seeing those videos shortly. The camper serves two purposes. Number one, it's basically a big billboard that I can tow around with my Kia Soul and be within we got to build it very lightweight and that type of thing. But I'm also going to live out of it to keep costs down, to keep expenses down. Where I'm estimating that this will all cost approximately $50,000 a year in order to do this. I expect to have the documentary done within a year. Now, the documentary is going to be called PBS or Bust, which is what this whole project is for. In order to do all this, Gigsplained is now the Gigsplained Education Foundation, a pending 501c3 nonprofit. And we are going to advocate for the restoration of public funds to public media. We're going to create this documentary, which will be licensed for free to public television stations. And it is going to, I'll have a whole separate video on that part of the project. But basically, it's going to document the travel experience, the doing this whole thing. And it's also going along the way, we're going to dispel some of the myths and some of the myths about public television, public broadcasting. We're going to have the people that actually are on the ground explain what they do and how they do it and what resources they have to work with. Admittedly, this is a really, really big task, and I am doing it 100% on my own. I really need your help. If you're an educational advocate like I am, you can go to gigsplained.com gigsplained.com/donate to help get this project really moving. Like I said, it'll cost about $50,000 a year. We don't need that much per month, but it breaks down to about $5,000 a month. All of it is, it costs money to get the money back. We're going to go from state to state, going to different events with different public television stations. We're going to document how well or how badly each state is raising money. We're going to go behind the scenes. We're going to give you all kinds of access to everything, everything that I do over the next year or so. And we're going to put it all into a documentary, and we're going to hopefully dispel some myths and rumors about public television and why it's worth it to fund it. We're going to, together, we can bring that money back to your local stations, to the programming that you love. Bring it back and take back what is rightfully yours. Take back what shouldn't be fought for ever. It shouldn't be a question. I know $1.1 billion sounds like a lot of money, but it ends up being, if you spread it across every taxpayer in the United States, it's a ridiculously small amount. And whether you think you benefit from public broadcasting or not, trust me, you do in some way. Every life across the United States is touched in some way by public broadcasting. Your children get education materials and programs through public broadcasting. In many, many states, public broadcasting is responsible for maintaining the emergency alert system in the state. And I'll go more into depth on how that all works and whatnot. Trust me, it is the biggest bargain that the government pays for. So come with me on my journey. Come with me and let's together take back the funding, get back the funding for public broadcasting, and let's do this together. The link is in the description. Let me just say one other thing. If it's a choice between donating to us or donating to your local public television or public radio station, give to your public media station. Give to them, because that's what we're doing this for. I hope it's not a choice. I hope you're in a position to give to both. But yeah, I would not. I couldn't even conceive of this without help from my supporters. So come with me, join me on this journey, and let's together let's take it to Washington, and let's restore the funding that was wrongfully taken from public media. Thank you for your time, and thank you in advance, perhaps, for your generosity. Gigsplained.com/donate is the link to go to.